All right, so I didn't know how to start this either, but yeah, I didn't know how to start this because I didn't know how the game worked, but I figured out how the game worked. So basically, oh, I can't show code. So basically, how the game works is that you have a chart, right? And that chart looks like this, okay? In the scoreboard, right, you have ones, twos, threes, fours, fives, and six, right? And then you also have this type of score: three of a kind, four of a kind, full house, small straight, large straight, and then Yahtzee and chance, right? The game works by you have five dice, I guess, five dice or whatever, and then you roll the dice, right? And then after you roll the dice, whatever you get on that, like whatever you get on the dice is gonna display. You want to display whatever they got on the dice in the output, okay? So like that's why here they displayed it. They display the dice. They display the dice, right? You have 0, 6, 6, 4, 10, and 8. How the hell? That is not the dice. No, the dice displaying thingy is this, okay? This is the dice right here, right? So they display this, right? And then you want to ask the user how they would like to score this roll, okay? They have 12, well, 13. They have 14 actually. They have 14 ways of scoring this, right? They can either count all the ones, twos, and threes, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 6, right? Or they can like count it with these type of ways, like these special type of ways: the three of a kind, four of a kind, full house, small straight, large straight, Yahtzee, and the chance, right? The way that the scoring is described is it's a lot to describe, so you can just read it right here. In not the design overview, the rules, right? They have a specific way to score each of them. You can just read into that right there. But I'm gonna do like one of each so you can get a feel. Let's say they were to pick, like for this instance, in this part right here, right? The person picked three of a kind, right? The way that three of a kind is scored is that if the player rolls, like say three of the same numbers, so for example right here they rolled three threes, that counts as a three of a kind. So you want to make a function that says whether it's three of a kind. I don't know if that makes sense, but I hope it makes sense. So if they rolled that and that works, you want to add them together. So you would add 3 plus 3 plus 3, and then you also add the rest. So you add 3 plus 3, which is 9, right? And then you add 4, which would be 13, right? And then you add 5, which is 18. That's why he has 18 right here. So this 18 is actually supposed to be under the three of a kind, but like the way it's formatted, it looks weird. But it looked like this. It looked like this: three of a kind and then 18, right? So you do that. Cool. That's how you would score three of a kind. Same thing with four of a kind, but then you would add all four. Let's say the roll was 5, 3, 3, 3, 3, right? That'll be considered a four of a kind, right? And if they wanted to score it that way, you would type that, right? Or they would type that, and then you would have that function, check if it is valid or whatever. And then you add all of the numbers together, and then you place it under the four of a kind score box. Okay. For ones, twos, and threes, let's say they were to pick threes instead of picking three of a kind, right? What you would do here instead is that you would get 3, right? And then you would multiply it by how many threes they have. So here they have 3 threes, right? And you get the 3, and then you multiply by 3. So they would have 9 and then you put that 9 inside of the threes box. I hope that makes sense. I'm not really good at explaining things. I'm sorry. At the end of all of it all, right? You would print out the final score, which is the total of every single box combined. So while you're actually adding it to each specific box, you want to also make sure you're adding it to the scores. So for example, you see how here they pick three of a kind, right? And then that would give them 18 in the three of a kind box, right? You want to make sure you also add it to the score, like the score. That's why it says right here your score is 18. Same for this one. You see he said count 6, and here you look for every 6 that they rolled. So here they rolled 3 6s, right? You do 6 times 3, which is whatever that is, 18, right? He has 18 in the 6s box. It's just formatted weird, but this is supposed to be under the 6s box, and he also has 18 here. So you'd add both of that, which will give you the score, which would be 36 in total. I don't know if that's 36, right? So you want to make sure you're adding them all, like each iteration, and then at the bottom you just put the final score. So there's also one condition while you're doing this. Let's say like the person has you see how right here they picked or they picked three of a kind, right? And then they have like a score here for three of a kind. If they were to get another number, if they were to get like a roll which they also had another three of a kind, they wouldn't be able to put it because they already have that three of a kind slot filled. So like let's say like the next round they had like two. Let's say this was right here, for example. You see how here he had three of a kind right here, right? But then the next round he has 6, and then the other, I don't want to, please, we're wholly over here. But yeah, you see how he has that, right? you want to make sure that he can't pick 3 of a kind again because he already has that slot filled. You see what I'm saying? Just make sure that they can't fill in the, like, they can't add onto the slot. Once the slot is filled, it's filled. You can't, like, you know, add onto it again. Like, for example, I think he has an example where he does that. See right here, he says this person wanted to count 6, right? But they already counted 6 right here. They wanted to count 6 again, but like here it says there was already a score in that slot, so you can't put it in there again. So yeah, there's more rules to it, but hopefully I explained the game. But the rules are important if you want to know how to score it properly. So just make sure you reread that again. If you have any more questions, tell Miriam and I'll try to answer them. How I started was that I started by doing this part right here where it says like the functions. That's how I started. I just started making the functions. Where is it? I think it's under design overview. Yeah, I just started making the specific functions for each scoring type. So, but yeah, if you have any questions, tell Miriam and I'll help you out.